Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Star Citizen FM, episode 15. My name is Dr. Hawk, and I will be your host for today's show. So, 15 episodes, while not exactly amazing or revolutionary or, well, it's really nothing to scoff at. Regardless, I still wouldn't be here without you guys, and I wouldn't have anything to report on if it wasn't for the guys down at CIG Entertainment and Chris Roberts' stream. So again, thank you guys for listening to my monotone voice and letting me bring you my version of the news and the happenings in the Star Citizen community and around the world. So without further ado, let's get on to Wingman's Hangar episode 16 and the week in the review. First interesting little tidbit is Chris Roberts, the man, is back in Austin, so he's going to be down there for a little bit helping the guys figure out logistics, rustle the rooster cages a little bit, and just get things all organized. Didn't really ever think of CIG as roosters, but I guess they're now roosters. Dave and Dan contribute to the crowded office. This is actually a topic they bring up later in the show. They're still trying to secure a more permanent place, and Chris actually did go to say that their LA office is currently being set up, wired up, everything, so there will be more room for people to make Star Citizen, and there goes my hopes of seeing how many CIG employees can be crammed into one room. But alas, that can be for a different time. Work is also being done on the Galaxy system map. I have no idea what it'll look like. All we know is we will see it later. It could be interesting, but not much to go on. Also, if you're a subscriber to PC Gamer, you already have likely seen the images of the 300i. If not, I am putting the video feed up right now. You should see it playing. Damn! That ass. I mean ship. That is a very pretty ship. I'm happy I got that ship. And yeah, I really have no doubts in this game anymore. Like, I never even did to begin with, but this is just ironing it in. Like, that is sexy. As far as we know, it's in the game engine. That's not even a render, so if it's running in the game engine already, that's quite commendable. So I'm looking forward to flying around my 300i. Although I will have to do something about that paint job. I need my black and orange, or white. In good time, I guess. Lastly, we got an update on ship upgrades and add-ons. Those are currently in the works, so relevant to the document that we got a few weeks ago regarding the engineering, we might actually get to see some specific parts or upgrades in the future. So even an answer to my question if we'll have a cloaking device or if this is more just tweaking or tuning, we will find out in the future. Oh, and while I did say lastly, there is one other thing. Any of you who have seen Chaos Griffin in the forums or chat roll, he went down and visited the company, and I think he bought everyone some Five Guys burgers. Shazbot! I have been told multiple times that I should go to Five Guys, and now CIG has beaten me to it, or they've already done it, so I think I'm going to go get a burger right now. Be right back. I don't know, but wait, if I did that, then you guys would just hunt me down and kill me. Next time. But yeah, Chaos Griffin, good for you, man. Good on you. Don't know if that's contributing to the diabetes. But who cares? You gave them tasty burgers to eat, so good for you. And that's pretty much our week in review. So on to a new segment called Hot Topics. It wasn't really covered, so I'm going to try to elaborate on it myself. So Hot Topics is a new segment that sort of, at least in this iteration, pointed out hot topics in the forums. It was actually recommended in the feedback that they elaborate on it in the forums, so I will be trying to do that here. The three hot topics at the moment among the community are: what good are crossbows in space? Is dogfighting too slow, or will it be? And 3, what can we do about cockpit visibility? I'm actually going to start at the bottom with cockpit visibility first. So to anyone that has ever played a flight simulator, MechWarrior, or any sort of game that has cockpits, there has been a long history of cockpits getting in the way. You know, even in the recent game that I'm playing, MechWarrior Living Legends, I pilot an Atlas. The nice, huge cockpit tends to get in the way sometimes. In fact, there have been people, and this is the subject I'm going to bring up, who have modded it to actually seat themselves in different positions, either farther back because they like that view, or further up because they don't want a cockpit view at all and want like sort of a floating cap. I don't know what Chris and the team will let us do in the future. I think originally this is sort of a case of adding too much salt or pepper. We haven't yet played the game or see how it pans out, so I really don't think we should be flipping out that there's too much obstruction or too little, regardless. You know, like I said, with too much salt or pepper, you know, if a chef makes you a nice juicy meal, it's generally already seasoned quite well. I used to work as a cook, and one of the things that pains you is you spend time making a nice, you know, tasty meal for someone, and then they go pour the whole fucking container of salt and pepper on it, and then you know, whatever, GG guy, I don't care anymore. In some cases it's understandable if you want kidney stones, or, you know, if you really want to season your game, so to speak, then you have the freedom to do that. Nobody can tell you otherwise. But a suggestion from Hawk would be to just let's wait, and then when we can, you know, test the dogfighting module, etc., then we can decide if it's too blurry or not. Because I remember when MechWarrior was initially being shown, the online version, that people and fans alike, and even myself, oh my god, that's in the way. And to this day, I have not changed the HUD. I'm not one of those people that have done it. It's fine. I don't see the issue with it, and I play it quite well. So it might be a similar case that we'll experience down the road. So, cockpit visibility, really too early to argue about. The second topic of discussion is dogfighting too slow? Again, another case of seasoning before, you know, too much, or hell, in this case we have nothing to season because the food isn't even ready yet. We have no gameplay examples of dogfighting, only, you know, interpretations, etc. And from what Chris has told us, I'm not going to go on that because, hell, I started this series with the intent of doing, you know, tutorials and let's plays and coverage of the in-game universe, and, you know, I can't do that yet because I have nothing to go on other than, you know, either speculation or just words. So until we have a solid example, there's not much to go on. There's been people who have been arguing also, should we have it fast paced, so, you know, a few little shots and boom, you're done, or should it be a slow, you know, long process of, okay, whittle down his shields, okay, now you busted through his armor, now you're tearing through structural components, okay, now he's dead. I'm pretty sure, knowing Chris and the team, they'll find that fine balance that maintains both the fun aspect of, you know, just long enough so it makes you crave your victory, but not short enough that it feels like a premature ejaculation. So only time will tell once we know if it's decent, fun, too short, or too little. So again, case of wait and see. The other topic, and I think this primarily came up because people weren't expecting it, are what good are crossbows in space? In my mind, this is actually kind of goofy, because if you think about it, I'm taking this literally. You fire a crossbow in space, that's a projectile. Space has pretty much no resistance. That crossbow is going to keep going till it hits something. If anybody remembers Mass Effect 2's Gunnery Sergeant, if you fire that thing, you're going to make sure someone's having a bad day. Maybe not a planet, but just some poor Vantool that maybe gets in the way or something. It's a crossbow. Think about it logistically. It's a weapon that does not require an energy source or anything. Yes, it has its own physical ammunition, but likely is not loud, does not attract a lot of attention, and will more than likely pierce body armor a lot easier than other weapons. A crossbow is a piercing weapon. It's actually a slower speed, a slower velocity. There's some cases where subsonic or even slow ammunition works better than hypersonic ammunition or even other weapons. It's just flavor. And even Chris and the other guys went on to say that they had already originally planned to have crossbows and other weapons, even knives. The Van Duel, if you look at their question, have sharp things. So hell, they'd probably even throw them at you. I wouldn't be surprised. This is all about, I guess, variety is the spice of life. So I'm pretty sure that crossbows will have their niche use. And Chris has even hinted he would like the idea of explosive decompression or some sort of depressurization of a ship. I don't really see it duking it out in a Hornet unless you guys sort of slowly huggle each other to death. Yeah. But in something like a Constellation or something bigger, ballistic weapons, me being a ballistic fan, what happens if I shoot the wall? Am I going to get sucked out of a hole the size of a penny? That would really frickin' suck. Will a crossbow with its slower velocity be more preferable than using a rocket launcher? And if you're using a rocket launcher in a ship, I'm sorry, but go drink some Kool-Aid and be done with you. That's not smart. But then again, I would do it. Yeah. Where's my Kool-Aid? So again, with the issue of crossbows in space, just like a mechanic has every kind of possible tool in his garage, he doesn't ever use them all. He only ever uses what he needs, and I'm pretty sure that that's what they're trying to do with the weapons in shipboarding. So with that, let us move on to forum feedback. Holy shit, a wild Chris Roberts has appeared!
What the fuck?
Wait. Wrong game. Whoops. I don't even have any Pokeballs on me. Fuck. Oh well. I'll get you next time, Chris. He actually took some time to answer some forum feedback for the fans themselves. In fact, this is actually one of my favorite things, is the man himself answering the questions. So let us get on to the first question. From Alleycat, he asked, will Recoil be modeled into crossover weapons? I don't exactly know what he means crossover weapons, but I guess weapons in general. Chris went on to say that Recoil is modeled into all the weapons. In fact, this is even part of CryEngine, and I've played with it myself, so there's even going to be recoil for the crossbow. However, much that's going to affect it, unless it's like a reciprocating or automatic crossbow, it will be there regardless. So even just that little immersion of having some sort of recoil, like even from an energy weapon, maybe just, I really don't know. That's like saying you have a recoil from a flashlight, but just having some or instead of none could be a lot more interesting than if it didn't. So I'm pretty sure we can look forward to some recoil, and me being my ballistics fan, that's going to be something I'm going to have to deal with. Jason Alaska was the next to ask, will we be able to customize primary and secondary ship colors as well as selecting skin textures? Chris went on to explain that yes, customization is in the works. The goal is to allow you to choose base colors as well as some decals too. This is something I didn't know about. There will be pre-done decals included, so probably like UEE Navy, Army, blah 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 blah. But they're also considering user-made decals. The problem with this is they're worried that there's going to be a bunch of space penis decals, and they didn't say it directly, but I will. Space penis decals and, raptors mating and pirates raping and stuff. So, yeah, if you guys want your user-created decals, don't go making smutty stuff. This is not Call of Duty, this is Star Citizen. Smutty stuff belongs in Call of Duty and Forza Motorsport, okay? Come on. But yes, we can expect some customization. He didn't exactly say what kind of colors are that, just basic, so I don't know if that'll elaborate down the road, and if you'll have pearlescent, paint or anti-reflective laser coating or something, but there will probably be something in the future. Kinshadow, one of our favorite guys, was the next to ask another question while trying to hunt Legante. Will we have to manually remember passwords for places like Spider, as it was mentioned there will be passcodes required for certain platforms, or will our ship computer remember it for us? I actually have no idea who the Frau that is, Kinshadow. I really don't know. So, yeah. Anyways, the answer to his question, aside from a little joke from Chris, was yes, passcodes will be stored in your computer, so you won't have to worry about writing down, 58A capital 3, asterisk at exclamation mark star key for a password, because apparently that's easy to remember. Yeah, no. So we'll have computer storage for passwords. $9 was next to ask, will we be getting different types of clothing, etc. for our characters? I want to be able to make a space trucker that wears a cowboy hat. As far as we know for customization, our avatars will possibly be able to be space cowboy trucker people. So there's the answer from Chris himself. I would very much like to be wearing a doctor coat with a stethoscope, and maybe even change my head to that of a hawk. Although that might be just getting a little too far. But yeah, there'll probably be enough customization there for all different types of flavors of people. Night Moss wanted to know if the devs will play the game alongside us. Of course they will, and Wingman ship will even be gimped for easy kills. That'll be fun. Razor Xerex also wanted to know, will the Oculus Rift be able to see past, the support beams in the cockpit? This is related to the visibility. Will you have lateral motion ability with Oculus Rift? He also asked a second question of, will you be suffering FOD damage? At least that's what I summed it up to be. So FOD is a airman's term for foreign object damage. So, a ship blows up too close to you, next thing you know, your windscreen is shattered and things are broken around inside, or maybe if it was an atmosphere, a piece of debris gets sucked into your turbofan, now you have a worthless jet engine, if you didn't explode. Chris went on to explain that for the Oculus Rift, there is no real lateral movement yet, so we're going to have to kind of deal with that, but maybe in the future there will be support for it, and from what I can tell, he would like to include it. In terms of damage, he said, remember Wing Commander, etc., that yes, there'll be like cracked monitors, breaking screens, etc. I don't know how severe, but it would be pretty cool if you get foolish, you blow someone up like literally 6 feet up in front of you, and oh, you killed yourself too. GG. So that'll be interesting to see. Sam B was next to ask if he'll be able to battle in third person just as well as first person. And this is going to bring up a lot of controversy, because this has been another hot topic in the forums. You'll be able to use third person as it's sort of like a chase cam, but first person will have all of your info and controls. So, I'm imagining your reticles, your airspeed, your damage indicators, etc. So Chris effectively said himself that he would like to see you playing in first person. That's what he's going to try to get you to be doing. I understand for some third-person players this is kind of riveting. So there's some freelancer fans out there, etc. I've come from MechWarrior and a lot of flight sims, etc. So I'm used to flying for first person. That's actually a preferable view. I'll be honest, I've used third person at times just because that's the problem, is that you want to see around your ship and it can be kind of abused. MechWarrior, this has always been a thing that's plagued the game when third person's allowed, pop-tarting, looking over hill without actually poking any vulnerable spot out. So see, it's iffy, because I know there's some people who just like third person because it's third person, and to them I'd say sorry, but get used to it. But then there's also friends I know who literally get motion sick in first person and will puke all over the screen. and they kind of need third person. I don't get it, but they just do. So it's a touchy subject, but you're gonna have to get used to first person, I guess. And who knows, unless there's like really an issue out there, there might even be mod support in the future. Although I don't know if that would be allowed in a public server, and you'd have to go do that in like a private hive or something. So more to be determined in the future, but that was Chris's answer. Our next question came from Blacksmith Wolf, asking if RSI will be making it to PAX Australia. As far as the team knows, they're likely not, but it is a possibility for next year. And given that some of the crew, including Sandy herself, are from Australia, it's highly likely that they'll be jumping on and checking that out. Mellow Tiger was the next to ask, some people overpledged on Kickstarter for Addon Ships, including some ships with limited availability. When will we be able to commit those funds so that those ships are confirmed in our hangars? This is pertaining to the new website. The credit system will be functional soon, and in regards to the new website, it'll be rolled out and tested here, I think he said next month, and even some of the community will be able to test that. So the functionality to spend credits and spend your money will be there in the future and be confirmed. I hope that put his mind to ease. Mufasa75 was the next to ask, once the game is launched and the hangars are integrated, will we be able to choose the hangar, or is it at random? Chris and company answered that since, it'd suck having 100,000 people on one planet, it's being debated that they're going to try to let the players choose their own origin spot, so to speak, and be able to pick where they want to go. That way you don't have something like a noob starting planet, and that's where everybody starts. Plus, if you're a pirate, it'd probably be a bad thing if you're based in UEE space to begin with. So, hope that answered his question. Leprechaun wanted to know how will leveling work. Is it solely based on your purchase of a ship and you flying it? Or are there skills and training that you need to fly certain ships? Chris already has said before, and it's been said that there is no leveling in game. This isn't, an RPG. But there are considerations for training and licensing. Kind of like how in real life you'd need like a Class 1 license up here in Canada to drive an 18-wheeler. You'd probably need something similar in Star Citizen. So, an XA class license to fly a covert ops, blah blah blah, here, etc. This and specification that. So that would actually be pretty cool, because while it's not a bad thing if somebody could like buy a carrier right off the bat, and honestly I don't have an issue with that because they likely wouldn't have the skill and it would become a giant waste when it blows up. It'd still be cool that you still had some progression system. That way you don't just have somebody jump in and say, yay, I fly a carrier, and then 5 minutes later, fuck, I flew a carrier and I lost it. Give me my refund because I hate life and I am Gurface. So, I'd kind of like to see some progression, and if they include that, that'd be pretty cool. It'd give you some sort of goal to work towards. So, hopefully that answered your question, Leprechaun. Scott Allen, or Koros as he's known in the chat roll, asked if they could describe the logistics of shipboarding using interpretive dance. It's sort of, yeah. My brain is broken. Koros, why do you have to do this? Seriously, stop it. Oh, jeez, Koros. Travis T was the last to ask, what is the current plan of Planet of Origin? Now, I think this is related to the hangar, but I don't know if he's also asking if this is just planet-based or hangar, but Chris did say that this is also going to be sort of part of the campaign. You'll be able to choose as you work your way through Squadron 42, as well as the game sort of kind of gaining an idea of what you'll be, a pirate or a hero, etc. So I guess we'll find out more in the future. And that pretty much wraps up our forum feedback. Moving on with some news, Wide World News. Some of you may notice lately NASA's development of a fusion drive rocket. This is a rocket that's currently in development and uses pretty much, I think they said, a sixth of the fuel cost. So instead of taking our usual few years to get to Mars, this would cut it down to 30 days. This is both considerably cheaper to use and more efficient. And honestly, think about it right now. This is sci-fi becoming reality. You know, it only will be so long, I suppose, before, you know, we can maybe have commercial or even private ships. You know, hey, Mom, I'm going to go to Mars for a weekend. Oh, okay, you know, fly safe. See you when you get back, you know. Well, maybe not a weekend. It still takes 30 days. You might want to invest, but the time frame and the efficiency and the cost of trying to get us to planets is becoming less and less and less, and rockets traditionally just don't have the range that we need them to. So going into a little bit of sci-fi and making it reality, I think is going to pan out greatly. So if you want to check out that, there's news articles on it, but now I just want my own private rocket. And on this day in space, on April 12th, 1961, Yuri Gagarin was the first human to journey into space. He spent 108 minutes in space, or about one orbit, and following this returned to become a national and worldwide hero. And now, even today, we have astronauts conducting regular experiments and Chris Hadfield tweeting from space. I do hope Yuri would be proud. And that was pretty much our wide world news. Later in the show, there is an interview with Nathan Blaisdell. He is their new senior game designer, so mission design, game design, and also comes with a very unique portfolio, having included work on Thief 3, Doom 3, and actually a lot of games with 3s in them. Again, you can check out the interview on Robert Space Industries' YouTube channel or on robertspaceindustries.com in the comlink. And I still haven't had anyone tell me if they want me to include the full interviews, so for now, you won't be getting the full interviews. And that pretty much wraps up Wingman's hangar. There is a few other topics I'll be discussing since I don't have an interview lined up for today, but I will start with name reservation. So lately there's been the topic of name reservation, you know, paying real money to reserve a name. You know, Dr. Hawk is $20, or well, we don't even know the logistics. The fact of the matter is the community brought this up as an idea, and I won't bring up the specific names because those gentlemen actually came out and very politely made forum posts saying that, you know, they're sorry because the community backlashed, and then suddenly they snapped back and said, oh no, now we're just gonna blame Chris Roberts because he wants to buy a new Maserati or something. I think we need to, you know, calm our flames down a little bit and realize that this was a community suggested idea. While I'm sort of impartial to the idea, I'm very used to first come first serve, and I use other names if I have to. I can understand some people wanting to reserve a name that they feel, you know, attached to and feel it's their alias or identity. At the same time, you know, there's people out there who could just, well, I'm going to breach into another topic here to relate to it. The latest fan spotlight was Rad. This gentleman has 59 ships, and while I commend you, good sir, I'm going to use you as an example because there are people who have money and could easily just reserve a crap load of names and then sell them and make profit off it, because it's an itchy topic. You know, people could want to reserve their own names and the system could work out and there maybe be limits, but at the same time, you know, well, Rad, again, there's nothing wrong with you. 59 ships, man. When I need a name, yeah, I'm coming to you. But as an example to those people that are there, you know, what if all of a sudden I bought 6,000 names, just randomly plugged them into a name generator, you know, scoured the forums to kind of collect names that people want, and then sold those for profit, or just locked people from them. You know, that's a sort of an extremist example. I don't think that would happen. I'm pretty sure they'd have like a limit, like you can only reserve one name or something. But it just goes to show that again, it's an iffy topic. I think people should originally just go with the, first come, first serve. You don't get it, well, okay, Dr. Hawk is taken. Then I'll use, Save and Ice-Seer. That's another alias I've used before. Or Wraith Ascendant or Anhelag. There's other ideas out there. So there you guys have some names. I gave you names to use. But yeah, so I don't know. This is something that probably I'm going to be watching and see how it evolves. So until we know more, like I said, best thing we can do, just chill out, wait and see, and try not to fan the company, because remember, it was the fans that suggested it. A few other topics I wanted to bring up. Clan spotlights. I will continue to do this for you guys. I've had a few before, and in fact one clan that didn't exactly like what I did for them, and I'm just gonna say this. I have warned you guys before that if I do a spotlight for you, it is going to be in humorous and not always clean humor fashion. So if you do not want your clan to be tainted in your eyes, then I suggest you don't get Hawk to advertise it. At the same time, if you do have something you'd like me to say, write it down. I get so many people who are like, do a spotlight for me. Like, literally, that's it. That's all I get. I have people who also write out very good proposals, but I'm not an advertising agency. I'm not going to read off a boring, this is what we do. Put some flavor into it, Ridicule yourself sometimes. That's what humor is fun to do. If you can make fun of yourself and not others, and I constantly trash myself all the time, then it's funny. And plus, I'm pretty sure people will more than likely want to join your clan if they know that you're lighthearted, you guys get along, and it's not, you must be on till 6 in the morning playing 24 hours a day, forfeit your job and life. Nobody wants to play with that kind of groups. And while I highly doubt there's any out there in Star Citizen, I've experienced them in, World of Warcraft and EVE, and, well, there's nothing bad about that. There's some people have life. So, clans, I'll gladly do spotlights and, talk about you guys. In fact, I've even started considering doing some interviews for the clans out there. So if you guys want to just sit down and talk, and we can go over what you guys do like Sun. We have the master bakers out there. Bake you a cake and then shoot you dead. I don't know. Don't know. If you guys want to chat, I'm starting to think that might be a good idea, because I won't be able to interview a CIG guy every time. They have work to do, and I can't constantly detract them from their jobs. So I don't mind doing some community interviews, and again, that's an invitation to any community members out there, like, the guys working on the unofficial soundtrack. If you guys want to just sit down and chat, or maybe toast one of the moderators like I did with Slavic, let's do it. I can't interview anyone, so I don't want people just being like, interview me to talk, but if we can find something to talk about and you have some sort of community contribution, then let's get it out there. Let's let the community see it. And same goes for clans. So, at the same time, it is going to be a farce of sorts, or at least I'll try to make it funny. So, that's my issue on clan highlights. The other thing I wanted to talk about was my Let's Plays. Some of you have already played with me. We did Guns of Icarus online, and that was very fun. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. And, Lucy, Subtext, and Caliber, you all remember me falling lots. And I have no problem doing more of these. I wanted to bring up the issue that I'm going to try experimenting with monetization. I'm not going to be monetizing Star Citizen FM, as one, I'm using copyrighted music right now, and I'd like to be able to continue to do that just because there's some good music, etc., and things out there that I pull from. But as such, I can't monetize that, and it won't work. But after pouring through YouTube's monetization guides, I don't know if it even worked, because I don't get the view count that would probably pull in stable income. But just as sort of an experiment, I want to see how this pans out. So there will be some ads in the future Let's Plays, but I'm not doing it to harm you guys or to be a jerk face. Well, actually I am, so deal with it. No. So I'm going to be messing around with that a little bit, and if it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. I have a job anyway, so we'll figure that out as it goes. The one final thing that I wanted to address, I actually should have done it first, but oh well. Wingman, little disappointed in you guys. Like, what the hell? You guys missed, I think, the coolest news article last week. I'm not actually mad at you guys. For those of you that don't know, I should have either picture or video up right now, and I will be linking it. The U.S. Navy, if you're familiar with their laser weapons program, has actually successfully used and deployed the laser weapon system, or LAWS. And yeah, if you're looking at the video right now, it's burning through drones and killing things. This is a laser beam. Not a gun, not a rocket, you know, nothing ballistic. This is focused light destroying a drone. And it's, even as far as I can tell, been deployed ahead of schedule. They wanted this out by 2.14 and now it's on, 2.13. So, like, just think of the implications of this. We could have this in space, we could have this on your car, you could have it on your iPhone, some poor son of a bitch cuts you off, you just zap them. Maybe not to that degree, but the $40 million system, if you can afford it, as far as I know, is going to be deployed and rolled out slowly. So, this current moment, it's sort of functioning as a LAMS, laser anti-missile, and sort of anti-threat system. But as far as weaponization, I have no doubt that this will be continued to worked upon. It's been done before. This isn't nothing new, but just the fact that it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, it's not on a 747 anymore, is pretty cool. So that sort of Hawks news article, in fact I might try finding my own news article since Wingman's Hangar does it. But yeah, if you want to check that out, take a look. I certainly found it quite interesting. I just have to go find something worth $40 million and trade it in. But alas, that is pretty much all I had for this episode. Again, I'm sorry I don't have an interview, but it also comes down to the fact that I just won't be able to do constant interviews. And, CIG, we need them to work on their game. So, again, the invitation's going out to you guys. If you have something that you're contributing to the community, and trust me, you'll have to let me know, because I'm very bad at, I'm a bad news reporter. Fancy that. Talk to me and we can figure something out. And again, clans, I'll continue doing this for you guys, and we can look forward to more Let's Plays in the future, and I'll try to do something entertaining for you guys. Until then, this is Dr. Hawk signing off, wishing you guys to take care and fly safe. See you next time.